What is good, defenders, and welcome to the LAFC podcast your mother warned you about. That's right. This is Defenders of the Bank, episode 371, as LAFC earns our first win in Minnesota, going to Allianz Field and knocking out the best set-piece team in the league, 1-0 behind another Denis dagger, another penalty shot from Denis PK. You know my voice. It's the Scarf. J.R. Liebert coming to you live from Lawndale and coming at you from across the interwebs in a pretty rad shirt that he's got to make sure he talks to all of you about in just a second. I give you one. Chris Lafferty, LAFC Laugh.
A very good evening to you, my friend JR. Great to be with you tonight. It's a beautiful Thursday here. I'm up in the valley here. You're down in the South Bay, and you're right, my man. I just noticed what jersey you're wearing. You're wearing last year's archive kit that we came out with. I'd imagine it's because this week all of the other archive kits for a handful of teams just came out. I must say I like ours the best. But there were some pretty good ones, including the ones we saw last night. But you're right, my friend. I do have to tell the millions
and millions
about this beautiful shirt that I've got. I just got it in the mail today on my way home, right before we sat down to go live here with everybody. I ordered this shirt last week from Eric at Jump for LA. You can go at Jump for LA on Instagram. He makes a whole bunch of awesome custom design shirts centered around LAFC. Some really sweet ones on there. Follow him if you're not already. And this one here is a tribute to our good friend LAFC Luchador, who's always been in the North End and just around the stadium taking awesome photos for everybody. You know, he volunteers his time. He does it for free. And my man, he always comes out with some gems. So we wanted to show the love back to him.
Now, I have to ask a question. Since it's LAFC Luchador, would you mind checking on the shirt? We do have pierced nipples, right? If it's LAFC Luchador, it's got to be.
I'm checking, and let's see right there. Yep. Looks like we do.
There you go. And this is all out of love, by the way. Luchador, you know we love you. Check out the shirt. Once again, Jump for LA on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's some pretty cool work. So congrats to them on a really great shirt. LAFC Luchador, a wonderful human. Absolutely love that, man. Takes incredible pictures, too, by the way.
Amazing. Yeah, really great.
Speaking of, I don't know, wonderful humans, sure, we'll segue to Matthew Chonier being a wonderful human. Heavily rumored coming to LAFC. And look, I think it's exciting because he obviously has Canadian men's national team experience. He's got some international experience, most of it up north of the border for Montreal, where he came through the academy, 139 matches with Montreal, 12 goals, 9 assists for the midfielder, the center mid. But what I like about this more than anything, Chris Lafferty, is that the club he played for, or is really playing for now, it's the partnership between LAFC and the club out of Zurich, Switzerland, Grasshopper, as LAFC became primary shareholders, primary owners of that club, 2 seasons almost ago now, or before
2023,
last season.
That's right.
So this is the proof that the partnership is working between not Bayern Munich and LAFC yet. I'm ready for that one to start paying some dividends. other than me paying them for a scarf, I'm ready for that partnership to start paying some dividends. But our partnership between Grasshopper and LAFC, it could be coming to fruition here after the 24th with Matthew Chonier.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I love, like you said, that these partnerships are paying off. And, you know, it seems like we hear about these things. We heard about Zurich Grasshopper a few years ago, a couple of years ago now. And you're like, oh, that's cool, I guess. Haven't heard anything since. And now you're starting to see it pay off, and you're starting to see these things materialize. Like you said, I'm excited for when that Bayern partnership starts paying off. But either way, no matter what, I'm excited about this. I'm looking forward to this transfer if it goes through. And I love seeing these things materialize. It's nice to know we're not just throwing these things out into the ether or just making Instagram posts about partnership for our health. These things are coming true. So it's nice to see. It's translating really well. And I used to think that Eric Duenas was the young grasshopper of LAFC, and looks like now we have another one. So this is good.
Yeah, 26 years old, the Canadian men's national team midfielder. He's played with them quite a bit over the last couple of years. Mario Little, hello to both of you guys. Welcome into the chat. It was our first match without Captain Aaron Long. We were wondering who would get the armband. That was a no-duh. Hugo Lloris, he'll be captaining this club for the remainder of the season, unless something changes. And look, there were some beautiful kits in Minnesota last night. I loved the kit when it first came out, the away kit with the half collar, and then I saw it play on TV, and it just looked like everybody kept having to pat down their collars every 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. This time, not so much on the broadcast. They seem to have kind of fixed the collar issue. And by the way, Lafferty, I believe you were the one that added this to the notes. If you do buy one of those kits or one of our black and gold home kits, you get a free subscription to MLS Season Pass, which is good if you're not already getting one as a season ticket member. So if you wanted to buy a jersey, now's probably the best time because you get a free subscription to Apple TV Season Pass.
And hey, if you're looking to get season tickets, you get those too. I know my email just came out today, was sent out to me today in order to renew, giving all that information, either renew, upgrade, change seats, opt out, whatever you want to do. So if you're a season ticket holder, check your inbox so that you can start paying them again.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a, what was it? The Flint Tropics vibe from that Loons uniform yesterday. That font, I know. We'll get to you in a minute with why the font is what it was. Hold on. I really liked the top part of the jersey, and as the match wore on, I realized I didn't like the Loons part of the jersey as much. But there was an homage, or a bunch of homages anyway, in the Minnesota's new heritage kit. Chris Lafferty, please educate the masses.
Oh, as a lover of all things uniforms and aesthetics, I was very excited, and they mentioned it briefly on the broadcast, and I went, I must look them up. They said that it was a tribute to the Minnesota Thunder and the Minnesota Kicks. Now, the Thunder are a WPSL team that plays in Minnesota, but the Kicks were a team that was founded in 1976. And I love it because it has kind of a cool Schoolhouse Rock looking 70s classic style font. So I would just recommend doing a quick old Google search of them, looking up the Kicks. I thought it was really cool what they did. Minnesota does a great job with those blue, all the blue tones that they do. And it looks like they incorporated a different shade of blue, different color in their uniforms than we're used to seeing. So that was a nice little change of pace for the folks up in the land of 10,000 lakes. And I really liked it. But I'll tell you what, I was looking around on MLSshop.com last night just to see what other uniforms came out. And I would put it at maybe like 4th of the best ones that came out.
Okay. I think we'll have to incorporate those into our kit review that we're going to do over the All-Star break. That's going to be kind of fun.
Good, because I got opinions. Most of them good, many good. Some bland, some not really inspiring at all, DC United. And other than that, we're good.
Yeah, look, Minnesota Kicks, by the way, they played for 5-6 seasons, 1976 to 1981. They drew 23,000 fans a game. And in 1977, they averaged almost 33,000 fans a game in the defunct NASL. Of course, that's the league that Pele and Beckenbauer and many others played in here in the United States. It's a pretty cool design if you want to go check out the Minnesota Kicks.
I just want to give a shout out to the entire Kicks roster and coaching staff. We know they're big fans of the show. We know they're listening every week. So thank you guys for tuning in. Really great to have the Minnesota Kicks, roster here on our fan base. Hope to see you in the chat sometime soon.
Let's get into a quick this day in LAFC history and news and notes. We're actually going to go right into the news and notes segment because there's one thing in particular that came out today that I want to make sure that we put a full court press on because it's coming up Sunday, July 20th. On Sunday, July 20th, the unified teams of the LA Galaxy, LAFC, San Jose Earthquakes, and Sacramento Republic of the USL Championship are going to play in the first ever unified soccer tournament in Southern California, MLS Special Olympics Unified Soccer Tournament. It'll be at Jesse Owens Stadium right here in Los Angeles. The teams will play 3 30-minute matches in a round-robin style tournament from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Jesse Owens Stadium on July 20th. 2 fields, games at the same time, 5-minute half times, 10 minutes in between each match. These guys are going to be absolutely, guys and girls, the teams are going to be absolutely exhausted by the end of it. And if you didn't happen to catch, LAFC finally posted footage of the goal. We know that unfortunately our unified team fell 3-2 to Dallas's unified team. But the goal scored by number 18, Turbo, which did eventually make it to LAFC social media. LAFC's Turbo scored a goal from just about center pitch, a beautiful curling shot over the keeper into the back of the net. It was the highlight of the night in a night where LAFC won 2-0. It was the absolute best goal that we have seen in quite a while. It was reminiscent of those Sergei Palencia and Artem Smolyakov rockets from way outside. And so, listen, if you're not doing anything Sunday, July 20th on the campus of Cal State LA, Jesse Owens Stadium from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., please come out and watch LAFC's unified team take on Galaxy, Earthquakes, and Sacramento Republic in a round-robin tournament. It is going to be a lot of fun, and I can't think of a better way to support our unified team.
Yeah, not only to support them, but want to give them a shout out because they represent us so well. I mean, they're amazing, just amazing athletes, amazing kids. But it's last year I watched the match after our match when we played Houston. Our unified teams played each other. I didn't make it this year to the one last week where they played, but I'll tell you what. Watching those, it's so much fun because they're having a ball out there and they're giving it 100%. And the unified matches are just a really great opportunity for them to really showcase what they've been working on. And then I'm glad that they get another platform and another higher profile event like this one to really show themselves off because, man, they do a lot of great work and it's awesome. It's really positive. So looking forward to it. I should be there Sunday.
That'll be a lot of fun. And then if you're looking for something to do on Tuesday, first of all, make sure you listen to what might be a One More Sleep episode about the All-Star game. I don't know. We haven't decided what we're going to do for the All-Star game yet. The All-Star game being Wednesday, July 23rd. But Denis PK will be participating in the MLS All-Star Skills Challenge on Tuesday, July 22nd, at 6 p.m. So don't forget to check out Denis PK the night before the All-Star game at the Skills Challenge. LAFC 2 beat Timbers 2, 1-0 at Titan Stadium last week. Their next match is the Derby as well. Of course, now they're Ventura County Football Club instead of Los Gros, but this match will be played at William Rowland Stadium Sunday, July 20th. More something to do July 20th is going to be a busy day for some people. You got 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Cal State LA, and then travel down to Cal Lutheran University in Thousand Oaks at 7 o'clock, where LAFC 2 will take on the former Los Gros Carson 2 Ventura County Football Club at William Rowland Stadium. Lafferty, very, very trepidatious as we made our way into Allianz Field, to the Great White North, to a city and to a stadium that we had very simply never performed very well at in our club's history. And oh, by the way, we walk into a Minnesota United club that is staring down at us in the standings, second place in the West, third most goals in the West at 39, tied for the third fewest goals allowed in the West at 25, a plus 14 differential, a club that doesn't lose at home, barely loses anywhere at 11-4-7, 40 points on the season. And we told them my favorite quote from the Bill Murray movie Meatballs: "It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter." It's one of my favorite lines. It's one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie. But oh my goodness, what an incredible performance, Lafferty. Down the captain, new formation, Dane St. Clair standing on his head in goal, cats and dogs sleeping together, mass hysteria, and yet LAFC heads into Minnesota and gets all 3 points.
We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off. But yeah, look, I'm telling you, man, look, you're right. None of that matters. It all goes out the window because, well, we had a lot of turmoil going on here. I know the last couple of matches I talked about, well, there are a lot of changes. After the Club World Cup, we had some roster changes. Few people left us, and so there were some things in a state of flux. Well, out here in the state of Minnesota, it looked like things were going to be in a state of turmoil for us. But that wasn't to be, because you know what? I love that our team has that next man up mentality. We represented our captain, Aaron Long. We had his jersey everywhere we went. We made sure that he knew we were thinking of him. And our guys stepped up to play because they knew that this was a big match. They knew that we had to walk away with a lot of points because we're playing catch up and we got a pretty congested schedule, headed down the road here. And this is a high opportunity to really make a name for ourselves. We just talked about how coming out of the Club World Cup, we just took on Chelsea, the best team in the world, as officially now. And we held our own against them. So why should we be afraid against a team like Minnesota United FC? I don't think we should be, but we have to stake our claim. We couldn't just talk about it. And so now we go into this game, and I think that it was a point of pride for us in this match.
No, you're absolutely right. I love that. I love that characterization of it. It was pride. But look, these are also paid professionals, right? Their job is to go out there and perform and win games. I didn't understand the flack that Steve Cherundolo was getting after, in the press conference, he said, look, Aaron Long understands it. The whole team understands it. We got to have the next man up mentality. Injuries are part of the game. No kidding. What did you want Steve Cherundolo to do out there? For all of you guys that get all over Twitter and say things about Steve Cherundolo every chance you get, it is a next man up mentality. You don't think that while Nkosi Tafari thought in the back of his head, oh, that sucks, dude. That's our captain. That's my boy. That's my teammate. You don't think he also thought, all right, time to strap it up. Time to put on my big boy shorts. Time to put on my long socks and get out there and go perform the best I can in place of Aaron Long, our captain. I'm sorry, but anybody out there who got on Steve Cherundolo last week in the press conference that I was sitting in, that I asked him about, I'm the one that asked the question that gave you the answer that you guys crapped all over. And I totally disagree with every single one of you guys out there that took Steve Cherundolo to task for not crying on the podium that Aaron Long, our captain, blew his Achilles out. We all feel terrible for Aaron Long. Aaron Long was the heart and soul of that defense. Sergi Palencia might be the teeth. Hugo Lloris might be the wall. But yeah, the heart and soul, the guy with the captain's band, that's Aaron Long. But what do you want Steve Cherundolo to do, guys? I'm so tired of this, that Steve Cherundolo gets out of bed on one side instead of the other, and all of a sudden it's breaking news for a lot of our black and gold faithful out there, which, oh, by the way, this was our first regular season road match since May 24th. LAFC has now lost one time in what I believe is our last 13 MLS regular season matches. Now I know it was a little up and down. It was a little topsy-turvy. We might have drawn some matches that we should have won. But this was a match. This was a match that LAFC came out and Lafferty used the perfect word, showed their pride. Showed their pride. They came out and said, look, no captain, new formation coming in at a 5-2-3. Eric Ramsey staring down Coach Steve Cherundolo at 33 years old, who has reshaped this Minnesota United franchise. And all LAFC did was go in to Allianz Field, which, by the way, I really want to go to. Haven't been yet.
Yeah, looks great.
Go into Allianz Field and take all 3 points.
You know, Steve Cherundolo could single-handedly save a burning school bus with children inside, and people would still be calling for his head. It's just, I mean, that's just a fact of life. So when you hear about people who are calling him out for they didn't like his tone or what he said in the press conference, they weren't going to like what he was going to say anyway. So I don't really put a lot of stock in that opinion. I'm just so over it. People were calling for him to be fired in early 2022. So I'm sorry, everybody. Yes, everyone has their opinion. Everybody has all of these things that, they may things that, bone to pick with them, whatever. But I'm sorry, most of it's just not even valid anymore. And if you got a problem with what he said or how he said it, well, you know what? Take the opinion of the players. When you start hearing a player complain about it or speak up and say, hey, that was out of line or something, then I'll buy it. But until then, no, stop. It's performative at this point, and I'm tired of it.
Yeah, and my thing is this. Look, there are certain people that go on Twitter every single game, every single practice, every single time a story breaks, and their shtick, their lane, what they do is to just crap all over the club, right? And look, I get those people. I get that you feel that's the way that you hold this club accountable. There have been times where Philly, myself, you, Lafferty, a couple other people associated with Defenders have said things very critical of the club. We are not paid by the club. We are not endorsed by the club. We are allowed media access with our media pass, and we tend to treat it like it is serious journalism. And when there's things to take the club to task about, we take the club to task. But I always wonder where those people, and there are a bunch of them on Twitter, on social media, where those people get the energy to wake up every single day and to just keep feeding the club a turd sandwich every chance they get. It takes more energy to do that, to find the negative in some of these things, than it does to find the positive. In fact, 3 points for the first time in Minnesota against a club you're chasing, against a team that played very, very well. And still, you look on Twitter and so many people, should have been 3-0. This is why we don't like Denis Bawanga. Denis blew 2 shots. You're absolutely right, folks. He blew it 2 times. But you know what? He also was the one that gave us the win. There's so much to talk about. Let's actually get into the game, Chris Lafferty, because I gotta set my soapbox aside. I'm also, by the way, going on a Galaxy podcast in about an hour from now, so that's kind of fun. Our friends
invading a Galaxy podcast.
Yeah, but we like him. Rob is a very good dude. I've done lots of.
I know, but Space Invaders, Galaxy invading.
Oh yeah. I get it. Invading. I thought you said debating. Invading.
I mean, we might, but no, Rob's cool. I like Rob.
No, Rob's a good guy. I'm going on Lacuna Galaxiana. We have worked together for Soccer in 60, which is another podcast that Philly and myself and a bunch of other people are on. So I get to go hold the torch for LAFC and let them know why they have no shot against us on the 19th when they come into BMO. But a team that definitely had a shot as we came into Allianz Field was Minnesota United. Dane St. Clair, as good of a goalkeeper in the league, 8 clean sheets, averaging fewer than 1 goal allowed per MLS match in 2025, and looked every bit the part of the Canadian men's national team keeper, a job that our old buddy Maxime Crepeau seems to have certainly lost to one Dane St. Clair for sure. He's as good of a keeper as this league has. Their back line, 5 in the back, a 5-4-1 that they would come out with. Anthony Markanich, who has 7 goals this season, just 3 in his previous 77 matches in the last 4 seasons. So a breakout season for Anthony Markanich, if you will. Nico Romero, Michael Boxall, one of the 2 MLS All-Stars, along with Dane St. Clair on this team. Carlos Harvey and Bongi Longwane, who is used as like a super offensive right back, but was really held in check in this one. In the midfield, an extremely talented Tani Oluwaseyi, 9 goals and 8 assists on the season, nearing double digits in both categories. Robin Lod, Will Trapp, and the 9-assist man himself, Joaquin Pereira, who is, as good of a set-piece taker in this league. Very much reminds me of Diego Valeri in Portland. I absolutely love watching Joaquin Pereira play. And, man, Kelvin Yeboah, double digits in goals, an absolute load, and a couple of times really held us to task. One of those guys that I really do worry about when he is out there on the pitch. That's the lineup for Minnesota United. Lafferty, a brand new formation and a brand new back line for LAFC as we take on Minnesota United.
Yeah, I think we were just trying to build a wall in front of Hugo Lloris. We're like, well, Aaron's out. Let's just throw everyone back there. 5-2-3 out there. We put, obviously I mentioned Hugo in goal. Hollingshead in the back line. Palencia, Eddie Segura, Nkosi Tafari, and Artem Smolyakov joining the back line as well, fortifying it there in front there. Hugo Lloris had a great game too. But I definitely like how we wanted to give him the reinforcements. In the midfield, dynamic duo of Marky Delgado and Timothy Tillman. And up front, we had interesting combo of Bawanga, Abobasi, and Javier Del Rosin. Coming in the 18, who we got to see were the old razzle-dazzle out there, Yeboah, Igor Jesus, and my man, he rode in on the motorcycle, David Martinez. And and also here you got number 62, Josh Santiago, who signed a short-term contract from LAFC 2. Scarf, do you want to give us a little info about Josh Santiago?
Yeah,
or fill me in more?
What's that?
Or fill me in a little bit more? I was surprised. I was like,
look,
hey, this is great.
I'll say this. When I saw the lineup come out and I saw Josh Santiago on there, I immediately went over to the LAFC 2 section of my notes. Josh Santiago brought in as a depth piece on the back line. If you notice right now, it's rough when we've got Kenny Nielsen and Adam Saldana and Josh Santiago, some of these guys that fill out an MLS roster for sure. But because of all of these injuries, obviously, we know about Maxime Chanot. We know about Lorenzo Della Valle. And the big story coming into this is how would LAFC perform without their captain, Aaron Long. But Ryan Raposo, who played a pretty solid 5 minutes and stoppage time in our last match, also finds himself out on the injury report. So we were hurting in the depth department, a short-term contract for LAFC 2's number 62, Josh Santiago. And let's be very real here, folks. Offensive opportunities for both sides for the entire 90 minutes. Few and far between. But I will say this. When LAFC in the first 20 minutes tested Dane St. Clair, 8th minute, fantastic effort by Denis on that free kick. Denis couldn't put it in a better spot. Dane St. Clair, Mr. Fantastic out there. Outstretched arm. That's not fair. He's a mutant. 18th minute, Dane St. Clair. Timothy Tillman. By the way, Timothy Tillman had 2 or 3 runs in this match where he broke some ankles. Can we give Timothy Tillman some love for just a minute? Artem Smolyakov, another missile from outside the box in the 18th minute. Dane St. Clair, again, not fair. He's a mutant. Mr. Fantastic makes the save. Ugo didn't have to really do any work until the 22nd minute. We mentioned how good he is on set pieces, Joaquin Pereira. Dude almost had one in the back of the net from distance. But that being said, I watched this game for the first half hour. LAFC content to possess. Minnesota tried to counter. And the first half hour saved 2 incredible moments by Dane St. Clair and 1 save by Ugo. Not a ton going on in this first half hour of the match.
Yeah, not a ton, but I'll tell you what, when you have a game featuring 2 keepers in Dane St. Clair and Hugo Lloris, you kind of have to expect that there's going to be a lot of great saves. There's going to be a lot of defensive clamping down. I just think this is one that I look back afterwards, I go 1-0 with those guys. Yeah, makes total sense.
LAFC vet in the chat right now is saying Spanish media, which we know how accurate that can be, is reported that Nathan Ordaz is getting interest from Bournemouth in England to the tune of $10 million is what the chat says. And I just want to then read what I wrote in the chat. If someone offers $10 million for Nathan Ordaz, I will drive him myself. Lafferty, you'll be allowed to be in the car too, so you can call him the old razzle dazzle one more time as we push him onto the plane to Bournemouth for $10 million. But that
I thought you meant to drive him to Bournemouth. I was like,
I will. I will find a way. I will get in a ferry. I will do whatever we have to do for $10 million for this club. That would be huge. It's not that we don't love Nathan Ordaz. It's that would be the story. The LAFC Academy product, the kid who I saw playing all the way out in Bakersfield and scoring 1 or 2 or 3 goals in an NPSL game. I mean, that kid now being sold. I mean, that would be pretty cool. But either way, Ruben, I'm driving him. Don't tell me how I can live my life. I'm driving him.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing.
Yes.
It's just a quick note on Ordaz here. If anything, I love seeing that a kid like him, a guy like him, the man like him is getting this kind of interest, because this is what you want for people. They come here, they grow up through our system, and they work really, really hard. They make changes. They're humble enough to know, okay, great, I've got to listen. They're coachable. You know what? In my eyes, it's just the sign of a big success. I'm thrilled to have him right now. I certainly not wishing him out the door, but I got to give him nothing but props. If he's even just getting this interest, that's a feather in his cap. Another one for Nathan Ordaz, and I just hope that he continues to kind of puff up his chest a little bit when he hears things like that and play like the big man that he is now.
Yeah, look, I never know how accurate some of these media reports are, but it would be cool. That being said, the dream is Thiago Almada, right? Atlanta United has already made $40 million off of the sale and transfer of Thiago Almada, and there's one more to come. Apparently moving on to the next club, Atletico Madrid, I think, is the next club for Thiago Almada, and Atlanta still owns the sign-on portion for that deal. So they're going to look to make, $50 million off of this whole Thiago Almada sale. That's the dream, folks. Another nice dream is that it's 3 matches in a row, I believe, with a penalty shot goal for one Denis Bouanga. Look, we got booed. It was awkwardly called on the broadcast. You had no idea what was going on. Officials conferred, but it was when the broadcast team realized that the VAR official had gone down to the touchline, which is where you would go to monitor a penalty kick, that the head official had actually signaled that as Jeremy Abobasi was taken down in the box, then that's how we get Denis Bouanga to the spot. And that being said, Denis put it where even Dane St. Clair, who, as we said, mutant, Mr. Fantastic, able to outstretch the arms, not even he could get that one top shelf, where I like my tequila, for sure. Denis Bouanga has looked incredible since taking a very bad PK against Esperance. He has looked emphatic. He has looked decisive. He has looked back to who we thought he was on the spot there for LAFC. Now 85 goals in his career in black and gold, 8 away from tying, 9 away from passing the immortal Carlos Vela. We keep letting Denis take all of these. We keep letting Denis have all the opportunities because he's the guy we want with the ball in his hands as time is expiring, right? He's your
Right.
Jordan. He's your Kobe. He's the guy, bottom of the 9, 2 outs. Who do you want to summon from the dugout? I'm sorry, guys. It's Denis, and it's only Denis, and I'm not thinking about anybody else. And Denis better wrestle the ball out of whatever other player is trying to get that penalty shot. I'm sorry. So, Lafferty, we head into halftime 1-0. And the thing that we knew, right, in my opinion, the thing that we knew is that Eric Ramsey would have his Minnesota Loons ready to go in the second half. And personally, I thought ready to go, they certainly were.
Certainly were. But look, here's what my thought was after the first half. I'm not somebody when I see, yeah, we're up by a goal. Yeah, we scored and it's a penalty. I'm kind of like, I think that's more of a testament to the other team screwed something up more than, hey, we overpowered them or, hey, we beat them. Right. So maybe that's just my way of how I look at it. Either way, a goal is a goal. But I'm usually not too inspired when we're relying on penalty kicks to be what pushes us through or what gets us ahead. But with that said, with the difficult environment that we were in on the road, a house of horrors for us, playing, with a lot of new guys getting opportunities with this because of injuries and departures, I'm kind of like, hey, the fact that we got one says a lot, and I'm happy about it. It was probably the first time where I looked at a penalty shot and was like, this is okay by me. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. And I think it's a really good indication of where we're going to be going for the rest of this half or for the rest of this game into the second half. Yeah, Minnesota came out hot. They took it to us. Look, they're well coached. That coach is beloved over there. You can see the fans love him. The team really responds to him well. I don't think age is an inhibitor for him. I think it's an attribute for him. I think it's something that's really good. And I think it helps him relate. And I think it helps maybe helps him maybe speak to the guys in a way that he can really make things click. And that started to show once the game began, or once the second half began. But I think what's also important to note is that here we were, and we could have been like, here we go again. And our guys stood tall. Our guys took everything that they were bringing at us. And we played the game that we needed to play. And I felt that ultimately in the second half, we took control of the rest of the game.
I'll say this. I don't know. I don't know that we took control of the game. But here's what I think happened in the second half, if you ask me. We took their best punches over and over and over again. We're talking about a club, the best set piece team in the league, 15 set piece goals coming into this match, number 1 in MLS. And that's because of not just corner kicks, but free kicks from outside the box, using Dane St. Clair as a weapon on free kicks. We saw it all from Minnesota United. 10 corners in the match. We saw it all from Minnesota United in this one. There's 9 times out of 10, they play as well as they do at home like this. They're at least coming away with a point in this one. But to be perfectly honest, Ugo didn't have to do all that much. He had the one big save against Pereira, and it was the defense in front of him. You mentioned it, setting up that wall. 5 men, but not 5 men. Denis Bouanga tracking back. The 2 midfielders tracking back, which is, by the way, I think that why they sat Igor Jesus is because they knew what they could get defensively out of Timothy Tillman and Mark Delgado more than maybe Igor Jesus. But an incredible effort defensively from LAFC on this one. And that's what leads us to the 3 points. Because look, other than a 72nd minute challenge on the back line where I missed who the defender was that went to ground, but I yelled, don't go to ground. That's like my least favorite thing of all time. But then Ugo was right there on the post. Other than that, let's be real, folks. Let's be real. It should have been 3-0. Denis Bouanga, as the match is wearing down, 87th minute, he misses the chip wide. He just missed it. He just missed the chip wide. And then Dane St. Clair, again, he's a mutant. It's not fair. but Dane St. Clair making that save 1v1. If he chips it again, we have another goal. Look, Denis is not likely going to win the Golden Boot this year. But if he loses it by 1 or 2, Denis, I'm talking to you. I know you're in the chat. Talking to you, Denis. You did this one to yourself. Those were 2 very easy Denis Bouanga goals. You could have been on 13 for the season, not on number 11. But to me, that is the biggest gripe that I have coming away. Dare I say only gripe right now coming away from this game is that we should have had more. I'll take it.
Yeah. Right, I'll take it. And look, no matter how it came, whether it was a penalty kick or Denis Bouanga connecting with those chips, we got it. We got it. And I don't think a lot of people were expecting us to get it. I think a lot of people had this written like, oh, okay, they're going to just kind of waddle in the the lower half of the Western Conference standings. They're going to just kind of get their way through there, be kind of pedestrian the rest of the way. I think a lot of people are starting to write off LAFC. I think a lot of people are starting to just not factor us in. They're thinking, they'll be around, but they won't do anything. And I think that attitude's got to change from a lot of people. And I think LAFC is going to start proving that to a lot of people because look at this. We won a game that not a lot of people expected us to do it. They thought, well, maybe at best they'll draw. LAFC coming back off a pretty wild, travel schedule, just topsy-turvy, world upside down turning, going to the Club World Cup, absolutely wild. So I just want to say I'm giving this team a lot of credit. Hey, here's a novel idea too. Coaches know a lot more about coaching than we do. Players know a lot more about playing than we do. Apparently, I'm fumbling my words. You think I can actually connect with a pass? Come on. So look, here's the thing. We got to go. Yeah, let them doubt us, as Ruben says in the chat. Let them doubt us. But I'm starting to believe more and more about what this team is capable of doing. And it's even more than I expected or thought earlier in this year.
We haven't given up a goal in July. It is, according to my watch, July 17th. We haven't given up a goal in July in a Major League Soccer regular season match. In fact, our last MLS goal allowed was June 29th against Vancouver in the 20th minute. So the last 70 minutes of that match. 70 minutes of that match. And then 90, and then 90, and then 90. All LAFC doing, and now without our captain, is putting up goose eggs, folks. You look at the clean sheet list. Hugo Lloris, doing everything we need him to do. Made the one big save we needed him to make against Pereira, and then kept everybody in line in front of him. And Kosi Tafari looked great. I know you loved Artem Smolyakov in this one.
Love them.
And Kosi Tafari, I love, though, when they asked him in the press conference, or they asked him on the pitch after, all right, you guys move up to 4th place. You got to start feeling good about that. What do you think? He gave the best answer. 4th still ain't first. 4th still ain't first. Job's not done. This is why I like Nkosi Tafari. This is why I've been calling for him to get a little bit more run. I did not want him to get run because Aaron Long blew his Achilles out for the second time. But that being said, 3-0, 2-0, and now 1-0. And pundits are going to go, oh, see, they're regressing with each match. Stop it. 3-0, 2-0, 1-0 in the month of July. And, oh, by the way, the gauntlet that they are playing, right? What is it, 5 matches in 17 days that we're talking about here in July with Carson coming up on Saturday and then Portland, a few days later after that? That's quite the gauntlet. And LAFC,
and Leagues Cup starting up as well.
We're going to talk about Leagues Cup after the All-Star game because there is a ton to unpack there. But that being said, I just want to remind everybody, LAFC is now 3rd, still not 1st, right, Nkosi, but 3rd in points per match with 2 games, if not 3 games in hand. And I can't wait until we go through this stretch of 5 matches in July leading into the All-Star break and leading into Leagues Cup, and we take 15 points from 5 matches. Lafferty, I'm going to let you have the last word, my friend, because I have to go very shortly to go tell all the Galaxy supporters out there why, first of all, they're doing the right thing with all their walkouts. But second, they're doing the right thing by maybe not showing up to BMO and getting their butts kicked. And yeah, by the way, everybody, don't forget to cancel your DAZN subscriptions. I know we're fourth in the standings, but we're third in points per match. So
yeah, and first in canceling days and subscriptions. But hey, look, we get on everybody here. I get on everybody at least because it ruffles my feathers whenever I hear everybody talking about Dolo this and just everybody complaining and all that. But like I alluded to just a few minutes ago, is that this team is sneakily giving us reasons to forget everything we thought before. They're going to defy all the expectations, and they're showing us everybody can stop talking about us. They can find other fancier things to talk about, other sexier picks for who other pundits and stuff think are going to be the winners and really take over the league. But LAFC is going to go, you can talk about them all you want. We're going to show it. And I love that this is a team that, for as maybe up and down things were in the beginning of the season, when the rubber meets the road, you can count on the black and gold to really come through in the clutch. And my friends, I really think we're making a run for the MLS Cup.
I love it. It's apparently, according to you, going to be on the backs of David Martinez, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Look, this club is also going to look pretty different after July 24th. We'll talk about that a whole ton. But you guys, until then, it's Derby weekend. LAFC takes on Carson, BMO Stadium, July 19th. It is going to be huge. We'll see how many Carson supporters show up. It's going to be a great night because LAFC is going to defend our home turf. We're going to beat Carson. We're going to head into Portland. We're going to beat them, and then we're going to take an all-star break, and it's going to be wonderful. Chris Lafferty predicts the MLS Cup. I predict 3 points against Carson at BMO, and you guys know how we like to end each and every one of these episodes. This has been episode 371 of Defenders of the Bank, and it's time for us to say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.